On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
Heath Oaks is a millennial mogul whose ignorance on fire led him to fail his way to success. Jenny Anchondo is an Emmy Award-winning journalist whose sharp eye and biting wit have led to her storied career in television. Together, they tackle today's headlines in a way only an odd couple with a dash of perfect opposite can. So kick back, relax, and join the conversation. This is Second Shot with your hosts, Heath and Jenny.
Good day, mates.
Good day, mates.
I bet you that was horrible. I bet
No
you I just
worries.
did the worst Australian accent known to man. Now we got the
Don't let
beautiful...
Aaron listen to this
Yeah,
episode.
exactly. Aaron would really probably just shame me. We got the beautiful Jenny as always, and
Hi, everybody.
and Matt is out doing this other show because he's too cool for us, and then we got Zach, but Zach is holding strong with us.
Yes, he is.
Still here. Oh my gosh, this new camera is way too close to me.
Oh wait, put it up. Put it up
yeah,
so
hold
people
on.
on YouTube can see.
I can make that happen. Okay, well I'm on screen on YouTube. Let me get it on screen for you guys in there. Man, I'm juggling. See, if I had Matt here.
Yeah, you see, you have
this
to
would
do
all
it
be a
all.
breeze.
But see,
Yeah, there I am.
you're so good. Oh, there he is on the
Oh,
screen.
gosh.
Big.
Oh
just-
yes.
That's
Oh,
way
look
too
at that!
much.
It's hilarious.
I
No.
like it. I like the denim today. It's
Thank
such a
you.
good
In
like
case-
professional cash look.
Thank you.
In case you all forget that we all of the shows are video recorded as well, so they're on YouTube, Facebook, and things of that nature. If you ever want to watch it instead of listen, I mean, I'm still a listening podcast guy. Because I listen when I drive and I run.
I think most people are. Yeah.
I do all that. I still do it, but we got it on video in case you want it. And we obviously, Jenny and I are still jet lagged and not realizing what type of sleep we can get right now because we just got back from Australia and coming back with the time change and the everything. It just is.
The struggle is so real.
Yes.
But really, I mean, who can complain when they got to go to
Yeah,
Australia?
we were in
really
Australia.
should not be complaining about any of that. It was an amazing trip, a very long, 16-hour flight, and then Brighton has been waking up at 5:30 the one day
Time
that
check.
we've been home.
Yeah.
The 1 hour time change has been getting to her, so Mom and Daddy have been really worn out.
Anyway, it's
Third
time
segment,
to.
we'll talk more about Australia. Give y'all some updates about how the trip went. And all
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, overall, we're just so thankful to have been able to go. That's the truth.
Yeah, it was fun.
Funny story, we're also talking about Australia in the second segment. So, Australia, Daylight Savings Time, the second segment.
Perfect.
Had I not blown that segue, that would have been fantastic.
You did not blow it. You saved it.
Thank you.
And we may have a funny food challenge in the third segment here that Jenny and Zach may do.
I have a camera for that. Is it worth cutting to now, or should I wait?
Oh
Keep
yeah, sure. I
people-
think show people.
Okay.
What
yeah,
we're gonna
That's what's going
there
on
it
there.
is.
Vegemite, you guys.
Vegemite, a big Australian food there.
I'm
So
not- I
they're
don't-
gonna eat it.
I don't know what's in Vegemite, but I can't wait to try it. So
I can't
that's
wait to
me.
watch y'all try it.
Thank you.
He's
Very
already
excited.
out, but it's fine because he was a real champion and tried to, fake
Nothing.
sushi the other day. So.
Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, that was one of my favorite bits we've done in a long time on Second Shot. We do a lot of good bits. Like the sushi thing was great. So we should talk about this first headline.
Yes.
This is actually very topical for the show. I know a lot of our stuff often is kind of weird news. This one, I'm pretty sure it's running on TVs outside right now. The U.S. charges dozens of parents and coaches in a massive college admissions scandal. Federal officials have charged dozens of well-heeled parents, including actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin, in what the Justice Department says was a multi-million-dollar scheme to cheat college admission standards. The parents allegedly paid a consultant who then fabricated academic and athletic credentials and arranged bribes to help get their children into prestigious universities. This goes across the board. Fake test scores, fake credentials, fake photographs, bribed officials. These are getting into schools like Harvard and Yale and Stanford. I shouldn't say Harvard. I'm not sure if that's outlined in here. This doesn't just stop at money. This went as far as pulling stock photos off the internet and photoshopping people's faces onto them. Like this was This is a big one.
The memes are flying.
The memes are flying.
The memes are real.
They are real. It's very true. So looking at this, you guys sent this over. More than 3 dozen people have been. What are we
first of all,
here?
hashtag Aunt Becky, hashtag Annette Scavo, or was it Lynette Scavo?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh, Aunt Becky, babe?
No.
Was that not her name?
Who?
Oh my gosh, do you not know either?
Oh, from Full House.
Yes, from Full House.
You're right. That's her. Yes. I
Yeah,
don't know.
she was a broadcaster.
I didn't know where you
I
were going,
idolized
yeah.
her. She hosted Wake Up San Francisco.
Oh yeah, on Full House.
Yes,
That's
on
right.
Full House. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think her name was Lynette Scavo, the other one who's facing accusations with regard to this case.
I don't know her as well, but I know Aunt Becky.
Desperate
yeah,
Housewives.
Definitely.
There's.
The second shots on here are abundant.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the thoughts on it all are just. It's amazing what people will do and the links they go to. But when I thought about this, I thought about the second shot of when you're leading people and or raising your kids, right? So I'll stick with the leading your people part of it. Okay, is when you're leading your people and you're doing things. It is real easy if you're the boss and stuff to and somebody questions something, you go, because I said so, right? Mm-hmm. And you go, well, that's just my right. But understand something, like if people don't understand and know and figure out the knowledge and figure out things on their own, then it's never gonna be sustained knowledge growth, right? So you can tell your kids not to smoke cigarettes because you said so, and they're probably going to still do it. Now, if you a lot of kids are still going to try it. Okay,
not my child.
But if you spend more time instead of saying no, like educating them, letting them see all of the harmful things that can happen and all the downsides and all that, to where they can figure out that they don't want to smoke cigarettes on their own themselves. That's going to stick more than you just saying no, right? When they truly believe something themselves. And so this story makes me think about how these parents and stuff skip the part of work that the kids have to do to try to get into things and doing it. And it's just setting them up for life that they're going to think that's how it is. And so when you're leading your people and they come to you with a question or something and you just give them an answer versus helping them figure out how to find that answer on their own, you're giving them sustained knowledge. And a lot of leaders I will talk to will be like, they'll get in the spot as they're growing real fast or whatnot, and they're going, I'm just running out of time, I'm getting overwhelmed, I've got so much coming my way. That usually makes me believe that they're not doing a good job at helping people understand how and why they do their jobs and giving them the ability to learn how to do it better versus just telling them what to do. So that way then the second time, if you keep just giving an answer or do it for them as a boss, they're going to keep coming back with it, right? But if you take the extra time, which does take a little more time, which is actually coaching them, guiding them, walking them through on how to figure out that answer on their own, then they don't come back that second and third time on that same thing, and that's how you get yourself from being overwhelmed in those areas.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost like a time management skill as well.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
So in the long term, so like
it actually sticks with them.
Put it in on the front end.
Yes.
It's interesting. So I told you guys all last week about the process of opening up the Hotworks studio.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so as a part of that, I've been doing things that I've never done in in the workforce before, and learning different tools and things like that. And in order to open one of these, you have to go through and learn these skills. There are certain manuals and books you need to read and videos you have to watch and tests you have to take. And some of it, it's really tempting to just say, you know what? I think I'm just going to skip ahead to the test because I think I can figure it out. Mm-hmm. But then what's going to happen when I open my business and don't know how to, get the software up and running?
Yeah.
Or don't know how to set up the saunas, or don't know how to input customer data, things like this that are really important that I'm like, I could probably kind of figure out the test and kind of worm my way through it. But it's sort of like that putting in the effort on the front end.
Yeah, and you got to think about it on the because I said so type stuff with your kids. When I think about it like that, you have to, it's easy to go, well, I'm the parent and I said so. But until a kid wants to make a decision themselves for them, it's not going to stick. Like if You know, I didn't ever sneak out of the house. You know why? Because I was scared to death of my dad. I knew if my dad caught me sneaking out of that house, I did not want those repercussions.
Well, that's a good parent-child relationship.
Well, it was. I mean, my dad and I have a great relationship and always have. But it was you know what it all led from those, because my dad always said he always did what he said he would do. You know, and I knew that was something that I made a decision myself not to do. And a lot of times parents will say just because I said so versus helping their kids understand the why. And
so being
kids
scared of your
decisions.
dad isn't a good why, but maybe how about you have to be up early in the morning for school, or you have to be up early in the morning for sports, or you know you have chores to do or something like that.
Well, I didn't want to disobey my dad.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to let him down. I didn't want to disobey him and let him down. I was scared to let him down. You know, that's what it's more so about.
But what you're saying, though, is that you think the onus should really be on the child, though, to have an inherent wish to want to do better.
Well, the parent has to work in order to get the kid to feel that way.
Gotcha.
My dad, by doing what he always said he would do and always being there for us as kids, right, and putting us in every situation possible, made me not want to disobey him.
Can I jump in?
Yes.
Sorry, I know you guys are both doing your thing. I wanted to say my angle on this, because this ties into what you guys were talking about. This is actually kind of where I was going with it. You're right. There is a cornucopia of second shots on this one, but for me, this is a nice reminder that ignorance is not always bliss, and not to say that these kids don't know any better, but honestly, they probably didn't know any better. Kids, like most children would assume, or teens, or however old these people are, would assume that your parents are probably doing what's best for you. And we have parents who are famous and have a bunch of money. You assume that, hey, I'm going to get into the college you get into and I'm on my way. Like, it's worth noting, even though we're not children anymore and we can't take the same direction of advice because we don't have parents giving it to us or giving us these opportunities, that, like, sometimes when you think a situation is in control and you just assume that you'll be fine, like, you're maybe worse off than if you had gotten invested in the first place and said, you know what, no, I want to watch this, and I want to track this, and I want to make sure things are happening the way they should. And kids, they don't know any better, but the people listening to the show, odds are, a little older than them. So maybe there's something we can get out of that.
They did say that not a lot of the kids knew what happened.
No, they didn't, and
sad.
that's really hard, and that's heartbreaking because that the book Growth Mindset that Heath references a lot is a lot about sort of people pushing themselves to achieve goals, to prove to themselves that they can do it, and that's what creates actual tangible confidence. And so what just happened for these students is that was taken away from them. And there's a possibility who knows, maybe they could have gotten into these schools on their own. I mean, I remember, gosh, that entrance situation, look, I just went to a regular state school, but that was still a robust process for me and involved a cheerleading tryout and involved, I mean, that's how, I was able to get money for school, and it involved reapplying for scholarships and applying and reapplying. And it involved a lot of rejection letters too. And those were things that where you have to dig deep. And so if you're not getting the rejection letters and digging deep and figuring out the next step, well, you're not getting the chance to build up that confidence.
And that's what helped have you have the grit to get through your career because of that. I mean, if those things, if you wouldn't have had that happen, you may not have had the grit tolerance built up. Would you agree?
Oh, totally, completely. Yeah, because I'm a very sensitive person naturally. That sort of like, not, I'm just a sensitive person. So yes, it took time to really develop that skill set. One more thing I do want to say about the students, and I really, I feel for them in a way.
I do too.
In so many ways.
It's not their fault.
But one of them is this. So their parents did this. It's now out. Their names have been revealed.
Yep.
And they're now all being picked apart. And who knows, maybe they got into these schools and were actually going to do really well. Maybe, maybe because people are saying, oh, well, if their parents, fake the test scores, how were they ever going to get through the rigorous standards of these high-level schools? Well, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they were able to get through. I mean, Aunt Becky's daughter has a really successful YouTube channel. Now, some people are going to say she's very snarky on that, and I would not disagree with that, but that's her brand, that's her style. But she's built a business for herself. The girl has a robust business, and she's talked trash about going to school. That wasn't her thing, but what I'm saying is now it's going to be even worse for her. I mean, this really did her a disservice. And now it's like, gosh, nobody respects you.
And that's what is more so to take away from all this, is that understanding that when it comes to employees or to your kids, you have to take the time to help them the best way to help people come up with the answers themselves is to ask a lot of questions and help guide them to that. It takes more time to truly develop people to help them see the answers clearly themselves, but you're also going to set them up to have that grit that it's going to take in real life to get through it. And you're going to do them a disservice as well as yourself if you keep giving the answers or keep giving everything to your kids or to your employees and not helping them grow and push their limits so that they can have the grit to get on to the next phase of life. We'll be back in a minute on the second segment of Second Shot.
He makes up words, she translates them. Heath and Jenny host more of Second Shot, coming up on RNCN.
To all my friends in the great state of Texas, if you have not taken advantage, I have a way to save you a ton of money. I have saved over about $3,000 in the last year, and I have no hassle. Go to energyogre.com, put in the promo code SECONDSHOT. Now listen, promo code SECONDSHOT, and you're going to get a free month just for signing up and saving a ton of money. So don't be crazy. Stop sitting around talking about is this the real deal, and go do it right now. energyogre.com, promo code SECONDSHOT, and a free month. Thanks. Go get it now. Run.
Ready? Aim. Fire. Second Shot is back for another round on RNCN.
I feel like we could have kept talking forever on the other topic if we didn't wrap that one up. We'd have had like an hour-long episode or something going on.
I know. We try to keep them succinct for all of you guys.
Yeah. I find it really, maybe it's the jet lag or something threw us off, and we just feel like we'll just run however much time we want to.
I know.
There's a world where there's a Second Shot after show. One day it'll happen, and that'll be a run over where we just talk for another 20 minutes on some topic we didn't have enough time to get to. But for now, we keep it succinct. That's right.
Well, and this next one I'd like, Zach, a lot because this was something else that you brought into the table here, and you had you had some specific kind of questions and thoughts around it, and I thought it was really good and kind of insightful to and I thought it would be a great one to hit on.
Thanks, Heath. Here's what it is. Proposed bills would end daylight savings time in Texas. Numerous bills have been filed to end daylight savings time over the years, but none have passed through the Texas legislature. Rep. Lyle Larson argued that getting rid of daylight savings time would give Texans more time outside, giving them a better sleeping schedule, which lead to happier Texans. We should acknowledge that in today's world, that with the benefit of so many modern technological advancements, daylight savings time has long outlasted its purpose, and the result is wildly unpopular with folks across the country. There have been a number of bills sent over the years. A couple states don't actually observe this, like Arizona and Hawaii. They don't do it at all. Texas would join them if this were to pass. Here's the thing. Here's the angle at this. There's a lot the government of our United States could be focusing on. There's a lot that the Texas government could be focusing on. It feels weird now that, like, I know it's topical, it just happened, right? But it feels weird that daylight savings time is coming under fire when there's a lot of other things happening that maybe we should be aligning our focus. And not to say that our second shot is why don't we align our focus, but the second shot here is this. Let's talk about sacrifice for a second. Let's talk about things we have to give up, because what people are talking about is giving up daylight savings time, but I mean in broader sense. If I have something that I like doing a lot, that I don't want to stop doing, but ultimately it feels like it takes away from something in my life that I want to do that's more of a priority, I have to give that thing up. I have to sacrifice one thing for something else. That's how it goes. It's an equivalent exchange. The question is, how do you give up something you really don't want to? How do you give up something that you genuinely like or maybe even love doing in sake of a greater thing further down the road? How do you prioritize that? How do you identify those things? And how do you say, this is what I need to do for me right now? Often this can just be a thing. This can be a relationship sometimes with somebody that you got to get out of and you got to figure out your thing. How do you sacrifice something you like?
What do you have would you have like a kind of a specific like example of something that is maybe that you love giving up for the greater of it all or something?
I can throw you a super easy one. Yeah. I have recently gotten engaged. Thank you again.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
We
Very
had
excited.
a big celebration on Second Shot.
Big time. I had been saving before that to come up to buy a couple of pieces of equipment for some freelance work I'm looking to do. And I realized I need to put on a wedding. Weddings are pricey. So maybe that thing I wanted to get for myself, I should kick down the road a little bit because I need to prioritize for this wedding that I really want to do. But this is also something that's important to me. So how do you find that spot where you go, you know what? Like, this is my priority. This is my focus. This is what I need to do. And this is the move I'm making. How do you give up that thing that you really want for something more?
I would tell you that from my first thought on this, on like, say that example, for instance,
Sure.
right? The way where my mind goes immediately is I would set a goal probably to hurry up and get whatever needs to be saved for the wedding, and so that I can get to getting my equipment faster. Or maybe I say I'm going to save for my regular job, and maybe I pick up Uber and drive Uber at night and say I'm going to make, I'm going to do Uber long enough to save up money to buy the equipment that I want and use that money for that and all my regular savings for the wedding. You know what I mean? Like, I would ultimately go to like something like, for me in that instance is I wouldn't want to give up either one of them. I may just do an extra task to try to make up that money difference to get it done faster than not. But in other senses, like we're talking about the past, that there's been like the PlayStation that I sold at one time and stuff whenever it was taking up too much time because I knew it was taking me away from it, just getting rid of it, something I like to do, but it wasn't as important as the greater good of things.
Right.
What are your thoughts, Jenny?
So I think with something like that, that's when long-term planning and goal setting comes in, because I hate to just think of, I'm good. And I like Heath's example a lot. I hate to think of, I think it can build resentment toward one thing. And since one of these things is your job and one of these things is your fiance, they're both really, really important. And you don't want to build up resentment to either one of them or about either project. So, pick whichever. I don't think you can go wrong with which one you're going to get to first. I mean, the wedding obviously has a set date. But perhaps if you had the gear for the freelance equipment, you could be making more money to, save up for the wedding. That's the way my mind works. But pick whichever one it is and then set a deadline for yourself. So say you're 6 months out and say, okay, well, all the money up until this 6 months is going to go toward the wedding. And then I have a goal by, May of 2020, then we're going to be getting the equipment and write it down, have it in the calendar, speak it out to everybody, let your fiance know the plan, let colleagues know the plan, let potential clients know the plan. Because when you set it in that way, you're not feeling sad about the thing you don't have yet or won't have for a long time. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes a year can feel like a really long time, or however long it is, 2 years. I mean, I don't know what kind of equipment we're talking. But I think that if you set it down and then figure out the strategy on, we're going to take out this much from the paycheck each month to go toward this equipment and this much to the wedding, then there's almost like a feeling of it's already done. Like it's going to be paid for, it is going to happen. And I think that type of mindset is really critical in terms of accomplishing your goals and not thinking of it as a someday thing, but thinking of it as this is going to happen. I'm working to make it happen. And by May of 2019, we're going to have it happen.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. The only thing I get stuck on, and this is this thing that my mom says is a millennial thing that I do, which I probably is.
Tell us.
I'm like a weird micromanager. I even get down to looking at like time spent freelancing as loss, right? I'm sacrificing time I could be hanging out with Christine or relaxing or sleeping to be ready for the next big day to try to work towards something else instead. Like it's
okay.
I get real caught up in the weeds on stuff like that. But
I think that
you're
is
right.
a millennial thing. I agree.
Very much so,
but here's the thing: there's something to be said for that. I mean, people who have been working for 12, 16 hours a day are now going to their doctors, and their doctors are saying you're done if you don't quit this kind of behavior. But also, maybe it's a short-term thing. Maybe it's like, you know what? Christine and I have one night a week from here until the wedding, and I'm going to bust my behind. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think it's very hard to achieve big goals without making any sacrifices in your life or your sleep or your free time. And right now I'm going through a very intense period of aside from going to Australia, but not hanging out with friends. Like right now we're kind of
Both
prioritizing.
Of us,
like we decided with
all the
We have an
businesses.
amazing nanny, and she's, her schedule's kind of all over the place. But we said, you know what? No more than once a week are we doing either a charity event or dinner with friends or a date night or something like that, because we have so much going on. And so
that's a perfect example for this, actually, because we just did that.
We just did that. And to me, and we haven't set like a date on how long this will be, but I suspect this will be kind of until we get the Hot Work studio up and running
done, probably.
and our house done, and then once we're kind of set in both of those projects, well, then we can be a little bit more fluid with, we'll make time for this. But right now, Brighton, the house, and the businesses are our priority. And it doesn't sadden me because I'm excited about those things.
Right.
But that's a perfect example, Zach, because I'm glad you brought that up, because we did just do that. I mean, there was one night where I think I was just about to my wits' end, really. I've been busy. Work has been so busy and everything else has piled on. And Jenny has been as well. So it's like neither one of us have been able to really like help each other out, take the load that typically can be done because we're both slammed. So like I said, Jenny, I sat down and said, look, I think we have to cut out the evening stuff for a while and have only one night a week. So if we have anything on the calendar one night a week, out of that, we can't do anything else, because we got to have our focus and make sure, because we were ending up not being very present with our daughter when we were with her, because we were like, we're with our daughter for these 2 hours, but we were really still answering the phone, on emails, doing those things,
or getting ready to go.
And those, and that our daughter is our number one priority, really. And so outside of our relationship, so we realized that and scaled that back. So that's like a perfect example. And I think that sometimes people get the idea of balance wrapped up, that it's a forever type thing, where I think that there can be times. I think it's okay that there's times that your balance is out of whack in your life, like whether it's more work than what you have in your relationship, or it's more relationship than work. I think that is okay. I think as long as it's not a constant, right? I don't think that it's okay to have very little focus on your personal life for 10 years straight. I think that's going to struggle. I think you need to you can go through those skews of your life where your balance is out of whack, but as long as you realize it and get it back into the right spot.
My most successful rapid rising career years were the years that I never went out. I didn't have a lot of friends, but you know what I mean? Like early on in broadcasting, where they were saying, nope, no jobs for you. Nope, your voice is not good. Nope, not going to work. Okay, well, I know what I want. And so if that means I stay home and do my voice exercises, so be it.
Well, in the last couple of years, we've been able to spend a lot of time with our friends outside of it all. And the other thing
now we're kind of ramping back up career stuff.
The other thing we did was we said it was just that one night a week where both of us were together doing something. That way, with the Brighton thing. So there are times that, maybe she's going to have dinner with her friends one night, but I'm at home, and so I think that you really got to prioritize. And I always think that if when you're trying to do it, if that one thing you think you really love is not very clear to you to override the other, that it's really not, you don't love it as much as you really thought you did. And I would say that you've got to look at it at the time in your life. I think one of the things we all got to look at is that balance is something that can ebb and flow. And as long as you do the thing where you have enough self-awareness to catch yourself and say, I'm out of whack and I've been out of whack for way too long here, I need to dial this back like we just did, or it's the opposite way, it's okay. You're going to need to be out of balance from time to time. It's not a perfect balance week to week. It is through the spots of your life where your balance has to be. And I said, pay attention to that. Have the self-awareness with it, and the sacrificing will. You're going to know what to sacrifice, when to sacrifice it for the right thing. And
basically, Zach, you get no downtime until you get married. And your mom's in agreement with me.
That's a sacrifice. I'm okay with
that. Well, look at your calendar, too, and just blot out the times. And maybe it's only 2 or 3 nights a week that you work on it, and blot those out so you have the other to have a better balance with it. But I think blotting that out and kind of making that happen is something that helps me stay on focus, is whenever I put the times on the calendar that I'm going to do stuff, so that I don't look at my social media here. I go, only these times I'm going to, or etc. And that helps keep me in track when I have it on a calendar, and it's like a system for me. So we may talk a little bit more about that, but we're going to get some of this Australia stuff on this third segment of Second Shot coming right back.
Now that's what I call ignorance on fire. More of Heath and Jenny still to come.
You guys have been listening to Second Shot and hearing us talk about it. You need to go pick up my book, Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. You can get it on Amazon in a paper book. You can also hear this beautiful voice of mine in audiobook style on Audible or anywhere you're going to get your audiobooks. Guys, this book took a lot of time to put into it, and I believe it can really be some life-changing stuff to help you on your path to success. And hopefully you're going to fail your way to success just like I did. Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. Amazon.com, Audible.com, audiobooks, paper books, everything. Get it, share it with your people, and I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Go pick it up today.
Kick off your boots or suit up. The choice is yours. Welcome back to Second Shot on RNCN.
So, for those that didn't know, my the company I work, Colonial Life, we have quarterly incentive trips and annual incentive trips. It's working in the sales world and in the world we're in, incentive trips are great, and Colonial puts on some of the best you will ever see. I mean, this year the incentive trip was to Australia, which was really cool. We were in Sydney. It's all expenses paid for you and a guest, and they roll out the red carpet. It's just phenomenal. I mean, I've been everywhere from Rome to Alaska, Hawaii.
Bora Bora.
We've been to Bora Bora.
Maui.
We've been to the Caymans.
All on these incentive trips?
Yes.
All on these
well,
incentive
Heath
trips.
also does really well at his job.
I was going to say, this sounds a little bit like a humble brag is what I'm hearing. Like, I do so well at my cool gig.
Oh,
But
well, no, I
also-
mean, the company's
also-
awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just like a proud wife of somebody at the company.
No, yeah,
But
mad
here's what
respect,
made it
yeah.
even better, you guys. So a couple of years ago, one of my best friends started working at the company.
Yep.
And at the
Oh.
beginning, I was like, okay, try this job, see if you like it, blah, blah, blah. And maybe one year you should try to just really knock it out and try to make it on this trip. And she did. And
Yep.
so one of my best friends was there as well. So that all of those pictures are on my Instagram. And we just had the best time. I'm so thankful for Heath working there.
Yeah, Colonial.
For numerous reasons, but the trip is fun.
It's you said something the other day, last time we were doing a show. You were like, I look at Colonial Life and I think if I didn't know how hard it is and how hard they work, I'd totally be into it. I think I feel the same way. I'm like, man, if I didn't know how hard he kills it every day, I'd
Exactly.
totally be all about that place. What an organization.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And just and we're going to get some more into that, but for the ones that are on third segment, we like to take your listener email, secondshotcast@gmail.com, or sometimes if people post stuff in the Second Shot Facebook group, whether it's their headlines or whether it's whatever, we'll like to talk about it on this third segment. Typically, we usually like it for a free for all kind of thing.
Yes.
And I wanted to read this email. I mean, and I expect can I use their name when they put their name in the email and stuff?
No, I wouldn't. I would just use a first name.
Okay, so Shane wrote to us, said, Heath and Jenny, your podcasts are really on point on so many levels. I just happened upon them the other day. I'm a firefighter in Charlotte, North Carolina. Met Jenny several years ago briefly in Indianapolis when I was there at the instructors conference. And her personality was so captivating. When I started on Twitter, I found her and have followed you both through your marriage and blogs and now the podcast. What you both have is pretty special because being able to play off of each other is good, but actually wanting to be around each other, that makes work special. Keep doing what you're doing, being yourselves, because in today's society, that is a commodity. Good luck, and look forward to the continued podcast.
Oh my gosh!
Thank you,
this
Shane. That's
just
super
is
thoughtful as well, dude. That is awesome.
So thoughtful.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, this just made my life. And also,
That's like one of the best compliments for people, to know that we're real, because we do, tell whatever it is. We don't really, we're pretty vulnerable with the stuff we put out there, and I love that that's appreciated.
yes, and also he's a firefighter. So thank you for doing that. We all appreciate, anybody who's in that type of career. So thank you for that.
Man, shout out to Shane.
So
Sounds like a nice guy.
Yes.
if you send us an email or you leave us a rating and review, as I always shame you on, we'll bring it up. And so the next podcast, we'll get some ratings and reviews that people left. We'll go over as well. But we want to kind of get into Australia. We're in Sydney, and they had Australia has I'm certain. I feel like it's an Australian thing. They have this special kind of stuff. Jack, you go to the camera on that.
Yeah,
This,
so if
I
you're
might have
watching
moved
on
the camera,
YouTube,
but it's there.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, called Vegemite.
Vegemite.
and I had heard about it before going to Australia. There's like the stereotypical things you hear about, like "Good day, mate" and Vegemite, and koalas and kangaroos and things like that.
Shrimp
And it was
on
funny
Barbies.
because I actually didn't find any until the very last. I think my friend who was on the trip that had been talking about it the whole trip, like, I want to try some Vegemite, and it had gotten terrible reviews from the people who had
Yes.
tried it. Everyone was like, "It's so nasty," but of course, I'm like a win in Rome kind of person. You know, I want to try everything, and
So she smuggled some back.
I smuggled. Oh shoot! Should that have been declared?
I don't know.
Actually, it was in my checked luggage.
Yeah.
So
It's
I think.
fine. It's fine.
I don't
Who
know.
knows? But Jenny and Zach have some on there. They're going to try it for the first time.
Yes.
So
Wait, is this is it supposed to be a jelly? Do people put this? They put it on their toast,
they put
right?
it on toast, but we didn't have any toast in the
So you got
studio.
crackers.
So I went to the cafe and got. So let's see. Zach's
going
doing
first?
his on a baked lay.
Yes.
Well, let's go at the same time. Mine's on veggie chip because Vegemite on veggie chip.
Well, I like you go separate so we can get the camera on you as you
Well, hold
try it.
on.
Because
Okay.
the camera can't be on both of you.
I was going to say, I think I can pull something off here. Give me a second.
Oh.
Yeah, not to.
Oh, does
do we
he
have
have
an email to read or
split
something? I might be able
screen?
to.
So in Sydney, one of the coolest things I got to say, a lot of people told us kind of beforehand that like Australian people could be rude and stuff, but I got the total opposite.
No, I
thought they
agree.
were great.
And they were like snarky in a way, but the
liked
sense
the
of
humor.
humor was excellent. We don't usually do a ton of tours and things like that, but we did do two specific ones. One of them being to a wildlife preserve to see the animals, and which I always prefer to a traditional zoo. A preserve like that is nice. And then also to the Sydney Opera House, and the tour guides were hilarious and snarky and fun and funny and like chummy.
I found
They were
them
our mates.
Their humor was great because they would poke fun at you and at them. And I didn't
Yes.
find it rude or anything. Like I really had an overall joy of the Australian people. I guess you know what I mean. Like overall, that
Same.
was great. One thing I realized on the trip was that they don't have a tipping society. So like their waiters or waitresses and service stuff, they all make like an hourly wage.
Yeah, they make good money hourly.
That's good money hourly versus where in our culture we do tips. And I definitely saw a massive difference in service based. It had to be because of that or something because service was very below.
It was okay. I don't.
It took
It
forever
was slow.
to get
I wouldn't
everything.
say that they were bad.
Oh.
They were super.
Oh.
They were still sweet. They were still cool. But I wouldn't say maybe as knowledgeable as some of the servers that we deal with.
They were in no hurry.
And they were in no hurry. Well, which resulted in me ordering 3 items at that one restaurant.
Yeah,
I ordered nachos and then tacos. Or wait, no, chips and guac, and tacos and nachos because I was like so hungry. By the time the first thing arrived, I just ordered more.
You went to Australia and
Stop
you ordered
it.
Tex-Mex?
Yep, I should
Is
not
that-
have. Well, we are true Texans. So
The beaches were beautiful.
Yeah, so we
went
were
to
at the
Manly,
beach.
Bongai, and we Bondi.
Bondi.
Yeah, and then we met an Instagram influencer on the plane.
You guys. Oh my gosh. I have
way,
to tell
what
you
do you
guys
mean?
about this. Yes. Let me find her handle.
All right, real quick, Heath, while
yes.
I'm doing that, I'm trying out this picture-in-picture thing. Okay,
Okay.
I think it works. I think I'm on. Yeah, I think I'm on screen with
I
you.
don't
Okay, cool.
I don't see anything
You don't.
on my.
No,
okay.
you don't see that at all. I realize you're probably not gonna. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. I don't,
So her name is Callie Burns, and she was the sweetest. She
sat right next to her on some plane. She's super
yeah, we were
sweet.
next to her on the plane for 15 hours, and so she gave us all the advice on the places to go, and they were all really great.
Wow.
So anyway, okay, time for our Vegemite.
It's time.
Are they up to where you can see
I
it?
think it's time.
So
All right,
if you're
we're both on
listening, y'all
screen.
want to go to
We got it.
YouTube or Facebook and watch and see the faces as they try this Vegemite.
Okay.
You want
One.
to show them what it looks like here? Like just so I.
One.
It does not look great.
Yeah, it does not look
It will-
great if
if
y'all
you
see that
think
right.
that
It's like
you-
a it's
it
like a
looks like
black
Nutella.
tar.
Yeah,
it's like a black tar.
It looks like a chalk.
And it is
It looks like
made
tar.
It looks
Come
like
on.
black tar.
Don't do that.
It does.
So it does. Oh shoot! I don't think I can have it. It contains
really? You
gotta
barley
try it.
and wheat. Just kidding. I can have it. It's
Okay.
fine.
I was like, come on, no, don't make me do this alone.
B
Okay.
vitamins for vitality. It's like yeast. Okay,
All right,
ready?
1, 2, 3, go. Beautiful faces. Oh yeah. Oh.
Oh, it's not good.
Oh
no.
Y'all have got to go and watch the like. If y'all thought my face was funny on sushi, this is
Oh.
the best. Like I've never seen
Oh.
Jenny eat potato chips the way she's eating them right now. Chug that water, girl. You got it. Go go
You know,
go.
hold on.
Zach, are you loving it? Or
At
do you want the
first-
extra Zach leftovers?
I got another one. I got 2 chips. At
I
first,
told you to take a chaser chip.
Chaser
you did.
chip.
You did tell me to take a chaser chip, which I also have. At first, I thought that like the flavor of the lay really hit it. All that
Yeah.
salt, and No. It came.
What does it taste like?
Well, it's gonna be different because we're on different flavored chips, but oh man, where do you land
Tastes
this?
a little moldy to me.
Okay.
Tastes a
I'll
little
take
moldy.
moldy.
Like that. Doesn't everybody want to go try? Maybe Vegemite should sponsor the show.
Yeah, they're not going to sponsor the show. However, maybe Tapatio will.
Not with that attitude, they're not. That's for sure.
You're right. I should get more positive about it. I don't know that it would be a properly aligned sponsorship, if I can be honest.
true.
It tastes like a very old, like musty beer
See?
kind of.
Yeah, this
like
is-
a
Yeah,
wheat
musty.
or like a barley. Like
It has barley in it.
Nothing about all that sounds
Old
good.
barley from the 1800s.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad you guys tried it. And my overall wrap up of Australia was it was beautiful. The people were nice. The service was below poor to me. Everything was awesome about the city, the place. The opera house was cool, the whole 9 yards. The beaches were beautiful. But the travel there, the flight there, that amount of time was really tough on me. For some reason, I was really jet lagged behind it all, and I never got over that. So unless there's something really specific, I don't know if I'll be making that trip again. But I will say Australia was great. It was beautiful. Has nothing to do with them as much as how far they are.
You guys need to move closer.
Yeah. You enjoyed it though as well, didn't you?
Oh my gosh, yes, it was wonderful. I will be forever grateful for the opportunity to be able to go. Honestly,
Colonial Life outdid themselves again. And if you're in the sales and looking for a sales career and you want to look how you can be involved, then email us and maybe we got some openings in your area. How about that? So we'll wrap up this episode since we've had it super long and let Jenny and Zach really based in the taste of their
based in the taste.
What was
That's
I
a new
supposed to-
Heathism.
That's a new Heathism right there.
Based in the taste.
I'm gonna become a rapper too, but where can they find you?
Oh, that was terrible. Instagram at Jenny and Chondo, Twitter Jenny and Chondo TV, JennyandChondo.com, and I'm on Facebook too. And if you tag me and you are sharing a post about Second Shot, I will repost you on Instagram, so hit me up.
Take her up on the Instagram repost, guys. It's totally worth the price of admission. At Apple Zackintosh on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook.com/group/Second Shot. I'll be hanging out over there. Come hang out too.
At Heath Oaks, at Ignorance on Fire, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of the good stuff. And Jenny and them are going to munch on these chips as we go on. I love you guys and see you next time.
You're listening to RNCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.